Hi guys, I hope you've enjoyed the videos for this week and I hope you're learning like I'm learning. In this video, I really wanted to bring to light the idea that people that practice yoga tend to stand in a more corrective posture or corrective stance. And the particular posture that seems to link the good posture with the particular pose actually that does that is something called the mountain pose. And what that looks like is if you imagine standing and you want to feel all four corners of your feet. So what you're going to do there is actually move slightly forward so you can feel all four corners of your feet, right? Then you want to imagine almost a pulling up from the front and a grounding down in the back. So the pulling up in the front is going to look like with your knees slightly bent, you want to activate those quads. You want to pull your belly button in and up, right? You want to shine your chest to the sky. But before we kind of shine our chest to the sky, with all respect to our yogis, what I would add is just kind of moving from side to side. And that moving from side to side and stopping in the center is what's going to brace the full core, so in terms of your front and your back, right? And how that happens is this. When we engage in any activity, your central nervous system wants to activate the core because this is where our power, our stability, our balance comes from. So what it wants to do is activate and brace it. So just kind of by moving from side to side and then stopping, we're activating that core, right? But we've also got that deep muscle activation with the transverse abdominis, and then we're shining our chest up to the sky. And then what's going to happen is the grounding down is back to what I'm always saying is tucking those shoulder blades down the back pockets, right? So we've got shoulders away from ears, and then we basically have this grounding down. So it's a pulling up and a grounding down the back, right? And then mountain pose is really your hands kind of what we would call an anatomical position, would basically just be kind of bringing your hands down your side. So you've got this position. And like I said, and I tend to lock my knees quite often. So just remembering to unlock your knees as you do this. And so this is a pose that you can incorporate into your exercise routine every day. The other thing I want to talk about is just in terms of pelvic positioning. So here, if I really liked this concept, I thought I'd share it with you. If you imagine that we had a tail right out our tailbone, and so we've got an anterior pelvic tilt, posterior pelvic tilt, but what a normal pelvic position looks like is when your ASIS is in line with your PSIS. So the front is in line with the back, right? And so I like to kind of envision the idea that if I had a tail and I was an anterior pelvic tilt, right, where would my tail be sitting? Up in the top here. If I was in posterior pelvic tilt, my tail would kind of be between my legs. But if I kind of brought myself to a neutral, where I've got my ASIS in line with my PSIS, and that was in line, and I'm hoping it's in line, I'm working on it, but it is in line, then my tail kind of is a little bit more in the center, right? So that might be a nice way to remember if you find yourself kind of in these positions. But watch my first video where I talk about how to stand and really think about your pelvis as you stand. So really, okay, what's the idea here? One, we're bringing to ourselves to awareness that we need to stand in correct posture. We're bringing ourselves in awareness that certain muscles need to be activated properly when we're standing, right? That we need to lean forward a little bit. So we're bringing ourselves to awareness. The other thing is really understanding that we were created to move. So if you are in one position for too long, and too long really oftentimes is 20 minutes, if you're in that position for 20 minutes, just move, find something else to do. If you're sitting, if you're standing, kind of move around. And then in terms of posture and really just ranges of motion is just to remember that we really want to start getting ourselves into the practice of moving ourselves through full ranges of motion. So I hope that this helps you as it's helping me. And then remember to check us out on Saturday at 3 p.m. CAT time. We've got a yoga instructor, Des, coming on. I'll put her link at the bottom so you can go and follow her page. And she's going to teach us a little bit about the autonomic nervous system, yoga, and how it's linked to posture. So I'm very excited. Have a great rest of your week.